Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. And in this video, we will be doing our UAS in English EIC AREN from journalism. My name is Sebastian Delvine.
My name is Viola Jovita.
My name is Valerie and this is Halim.
And we will start this video by asking the first part, which is a list of questions, and I will be beginning with asking Valerie the first question. So Valerie, what useful skills have you learned in your life, and please elaborate them.
For me, the most useful skill that I ever learned in my life is adapting. Why? Because if we want to talk to people and know people more, we have to adapt to how can we talk to these people, the character, the intonations, and for place we have to adapt well, because when we move to other place we have to know how can we act in that place when we do the activity or maybe talk to people. We know how can we behave in that place.
Right.
That's for the answer.
Thank you very much.
And we can move to the first question for Viola. Have you ever spoken to a large group of people? Please explain.
Me myself, I'm currently active in organizations, and as what we know, organizations consist of a large group of people. So that is why when we do some kind of meetings for the vision update, I am getting used to talking or speaking to most of the people in the organizations itself. And then myself, I enjoy public speaking. That is why I am pretty much familiar with speaking to a large number of group people or mass. That is why I feel like I am pretty used to speaking to large group of people. Okay, I will be moving on to Heart's questions. Work out the route from one side of the city to another using at least 4 different kinds of transport. Consider the time and then cost and environment impact towards it.
So I'll take from my place, which is in Bogor, to here in Tangerang, in Wamen. And I think the best method of transport for me personally is by using a car, because it's more time efficient, even though it's more costly. But I think it's more time efficient, and you have the freedom of controlling when you go and the speed you go at, what time you go. There's also another method of using motorbikes, but I don't think it's good because it takes a long time and you can't use the highways, so you have to go around and the traffic jam is usually higher. And public transport such as buses and trains I think is great, but again the flexibility is not nice. However, in terms of every single pollution created by all of those, clearly using public transport is best, and using personal vehicles would increase the air pollution around us and also traffic jams.
That's true.
Okay, maybe we can move to the second question.
Right, so I'll ask Valerie the second question, which is think of solutions for the following situation. People often feel stressed at work and become unproductive. What do you think?
For
Sorry.
maybe people, for myself, I make to-do list. Maybe today what I have to do, am I going to act in or behave or do in the classes, or maybe in home, or maybe in other place if I go out with my friends. Then after that, to reduce the stress, maybe most of people reduce their stress using by eat or sleep, and it's the most effective way that I have ever used.
I see. Thank you.
So move to Viola. How to reduce the pollutions in Jakarta?
Well, as we know, Jakarta is such a polluted city. However, there's a lot of what they call infrastructures that actually can help you to reduce the pollution, such as public transportation that is being used by several people. From what I've known, we can reduce the pollutions by not using private vehicles, because private vehicles can increase the pollutions, especially air pollutions, because of the carbon dioxide and other things. And then other things that we can do is not to throw your trash around, because pollutions in Jakarta is not just about air pollutions, but it is also about soil pollutions because of the plastic trash.
Right, I agree. Excuse me.
That's okay. I will be continuing to the second questions for Howard. So, can you explain your food diet and why you have chosen it? Please explain.
I don't have a necessary diet, but I usually get food from home. I bring it from my house, and since I live here in Kosan or shared home, so I have to pack them frozen and then I eat them. I warm them up and then I eat them purely because it's more cost efficient. But also, what my parents and my maid at home have prepared is quite healthy. It consists of meat, sometimes vegetables, eggs, stuff like that. So it fulfills all my proteins and keeps me healthy.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, enough.
Yeah,
For
home
part
cooked
one.
meals is actually the
Really
most
good.
healthiest.
Yeah.
It's delicious because
True.
a lot of people
Exactly.
eat it.
Exactly. And first of all, I would like to apologize if I cough a lot. I'm not feeling well. I'm
Yeah,
feeling
I'm
under the weather.
sick.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Now we'll be continuing to part 2 where we are going to explain the pictures that has been given by the lecturers.
Yes.
Okay, so the first pictures, I will be explaining the first picture. So right over here we can see that there's two people. They are shaking their hands, and then it can be a sign of making a deal. And as we can see that the background, there's those kind of like tables and televisions. Also, there's like the boss and other co-workers. I think that they're currently at the office, and then
Right.
they're making a deal about some kind of things, maybe a proposal, or maybe a project, and other things as well. And then they're also looking happy. That means that they're having a satisfactions of their deal that they made,
Yeah.
and
Yes,
that
yes.
is what I can describe from these photos.
Very nice. Well done.
Next one, we'll be continuing to the next photos. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Next
it will
photo
be
is
described.
fine.
Yes.
Maybe I can explain first from the situations here. They are maybe having a greeting to the people around the civilians there, because this is like a royal family, I think,
I think so.
because they're using a formal style of fashions, and the father is using like pin in here. The first daughter, she's using a pink and red dress. Then the mother using a white dress, and the last daughter, she's using a off-white dress. And as we can see at the background, there's a chair. Maybe they're having a meeting, or they want to announce something to the people, to the civilians. And as we can see at the background itself, they having the meeting at the National Palace. And yeah, I think they having a good emotion there. They're smiling,
Yeah,
and
we can
maybe
see that.
they want to wave to the people.
Wow, that's such a good descriptions. And we will be continuing to Howard.
Which is the final picture, and
Yes, there's a
this
fish.
is yes, it's a big fish. It's picture number 6, and in this photo, maybe closer. Yes, there you go. So I think in this picture you can see that clearly the background is a drawing of a fish or a painting. I think that we can deduce that this is the street art purely because this is grass, and I believe that's a public wall. And I think this is the mother and her daughter, and they're spending some time together, bonding. And her mother's describing the picture, I guess, same way I am describing this picture. So I think she's trying to say that, hey, this painting has several features, blah blah blah. I don't know, she knows, and she seems quite confused. The daughter,
Really?
yeah, she
Oh,
seems
yeah, they
confused.
do.
Her mother seems a bit serious as well. Maybe this is her drawing. We don't know, but from what we can see, it's a street painting, and then there's a mother spending time with her daughter, admiring the street photo.
Yes. Okay,
Next.
that's all for part 2, and we're
Mhm.
going to continue to
Part
Part
3. For part 3, we want to discuss some topics. For our topics is number 1. The topic is, I'd like you to imagine that a school wants more people to visit. Here are some ideas that they think about and questions for us to discuss. Let's talk together about the scenario. Consider all the factors now, and we can talk. We can start to talk.
okay.
This is the
Mm-hmm.
We can see that
options.
they want to increase their marketing, right?
Yes.
And then
Maybe.
So the main question is, which of these ideas, which of these ideas would attract more people to an arts festival?
Yes.
Who wants to start?
Maybe.
the first one, there's stalls selling foods and activities, and even for children and groups playing traditional music, stalls where people can create their own art and art exhibitions by local schools. Me personally, I think that the stalls selling food and activities for events and children is the most effective way to increase the marketing for the school.
Okay.
Why? Because no people will resist food, especially if
I
they
agree.
sell those kind of foods that is
Yeah.
unique. For example, like local foods, and it can increase like the visitors in general,
Right.
and they can like promote that school to the other like parents or
Right.
other children, and like school it's also for children. So when there's an activity, if there's an activities or events for children, that will attract them, and their parents will let them be right at that school, and they can see whether the school is great or not. And then if they see that that school have the potentials, they might make their kids or children join that school for several years.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree because maybe activity can make the children grow more and know about their self more. But in my opinion, maybe groups playing traditional music can
Yeah.
attract people to visit because you want to watch a performance, of course, because the performance can attract people more and they can listen to the music, especially for a traditional music. They can learn about the culture in their country and they can know more and they can input their knowledge more.
I agree.
So,
Um,
how about you?
I agree with the food. I believe that everyone loves food.
Yeah,
Whether
we want
it's-
it.
Yeah, exactly. Snacks, main dishes, drinks, everything. Food sells, and food brings people together. And I think the music as well. I agree with Valerie, because who doesn't enjoy music? Once again, like Valerie said, the traditional music can introduce new children to their traditional origins, maybe, or maybe for other origins of other people that we don't know. And maybe I would like to add one more, since there's no limit. And I think the activities, like Viola said, is also a great way, especially for children, because they can explore more activities and maybe their interests in a way that they can increase their enthusiasm when it
True.
comes to art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe when we learn art, we can more creative.
Yeah.
Because nowadays
Yeah.
creative is such a great
Important,
point,
yeah, it is.
important thing to learn, especially for like young children who want to
Yes.
join school.
Right?
They need the creativity in order to
Yeah.
like have a lot of knowledge about certain things.
I
And they
agree.
can elaborate for the art. They can paint or maybe
Yeah, exactly. Express their feelings.
yeah, express their feelings and they having more activity from art.
Right.
Yeah, and it can also increase their motorics, because I feel like young
Okay,
children,
right.
especially at their golden age, it is very important to like
Train their motives. Train
like play with their
movement,
sensory
yeah.
and then like listen to things as
And
well.
children love to using their hands
Yeah, true.
in their daily basis.
So
And
who's going to conclude?
I can conclude.
Okay,
Yeah.
Bart's
So-
going to conclude.
Basically, we mostly agree, especially on the food, and that we can see my opinions basically the same as them. Their opinions
Yeah.
combined and our opinions combined into one final conclusion that I think we think food, activities, and music is the best way to bring people to an arts
Yeah.
traditional
Yes.
activity, festival. And that concludes part 3. Moving on to part 4.
Moving on to part 4, we want to
Okay.
discuss some topics, right, Viola
Yes.
and Howard?
So for part 4, we are going to discuss about a topic. Okay. I feel
Sorry.
like both of my partners are under the weather.
Yeah.
You're
It's
so
so
sorry.
cold here.
Oh yeah, and then like the weather is not supporting us as
Yeah.
well. Okay, so part number 4, part 4. So what do you think is the biggest environmental problem where you live? So currently we're living in Tangerang.
Yeah, specifically in Gading Zambon.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? You wanted to start first?
Maybe I can start first.
Okay.
And my opinion, the biggest problem is trash.
Trash.
As you can see when we walk or maybe we drive or maybe we strolling around the street, we can see a lot of trash. A single one, not a single place can that we see is clean, are clean, and maybe trash is hard to dissolve. So
Right.
the plastics bottles
Mhm.
it's just like there and in there and nobody wants to pick them.
Yeah. I agree.
And maybe people should learn more about how to reuse the plastics or the bottles more.
Right, I agree. For me, I think, of course, trash is a big problem. Secondly, is the air pollution.
Yeah.
As even from this building, if we go up and we look at the horizon, we can see that everything is white. It's mostly covered in smoke fog, and it's a big concern, especially now that more vehicles are being used, and then the modern era is coming. There's less trees, so I think it's a big concern, especially for us living in Tangerang and Jakarta. That's for
Yeah.
me.
For me, I also agree with Valerie about the trash and for the pollutions, about our air pollutions.
Mhm.
But I feel like in general,
Yeah.
Gading Serpong or Tangerang have certain pollutions that is not just about air or about soil, but it is also about water. The
Right,
yeah, the
actually,
water
Yeah.
right
Good point.
over Tangerang Gading Serpong is actually polluted, as we can see even
Yeah.
when we turn on the
Tap.
tap water. It is actually not transparent, but it's like
A bit
kind of-
brown.
yeah, a
Maybe
bit
Yeah.
brown.
yellow,
Yeah.
and have
Sometimes it's
little
particles, and then sometimes it
particles,
smells.
Yeah, it smells
Bad.
really bad, and it
Uh-huh.
actually wouldn't be healthy for us to drink it. And then I also think that those trash and those air pollutions also affected on the water pollutions,
Yeah.
especially the trash. It's usually like we can see that the river or some kind of water sources
Yeah.
is actually polluted with a lot of trash, and then some kind of like industrial waste such as detergents
Yeah.
and then other things as well also polluted the
Yeah.
water, and
Mhm.
it creates like broken environment because like most of the fishes or maybe plants, water-based plants, is dying because of that problems. And then I think it is such a big problems in Gading Serpong related to pollutions.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
really.
agree because we use many chemicals in our shampoo, detergent, maybe body wash,
Mhm.
so it polluted the water as Viola explained.
Explained, yeah.
True.
I think that's all from
Yeah,
us.
I think that's all
We're
for
also
us.
running out of time,
Yeah.
so
Thank you for listening and watching our video. Hopefully we got the best marks in
Yeah.
our test, the final test. Thank you and see you.
That's
Bye-bye.
all. Thank you. Bye.